And welcome back, folks, to more 428 Shibuya Scramble. Last time we played, we did a lot of jumping between Tama, Minorikawa, Kano, and I think we hit a bad end last time with Kano, where we spent all our time interrogating Al-Karawan, but I do believe that might be the wrong idea. Osawa, we got stuck on a keep out, and Tama, we were about to fight a girl for some burning hammer. Aki as well got jumped. Okay, well. Should we do Tama? Should we do Aki? I think these two are the ones we should, or Minorikawa. I think these two should be the ones we should work with. We need to take the title. Yeah, I think that's appropriate because Aki's decision happens because of Tama, and Minorikawa is waiting on the burning hammer, so Miku and I march out of the shop. Out on the pavement, we stare each other down. So if you win, I'll let you buy the burning hammer, Miku says. But if I win, I get to keep it, and you have to pay for it. What? Isn't that a little unfair? If you don't like it, then it's no fight, no deal. I don't have the time to rethink this. All right. Ready whenever you are. Miku does a little brisk shadow boxing, throwing a repeated 1-2 combination. Whoa, what's the deal? Is something going on? It's a street fight. A number of people pass by, including a businessman, a couple, as well as some pretty gruff-looking fellows. Wait a minute. Who are those? Who are them? It's Asao, Osu, and his underling, Yutaro Segawa, members of the Tenryu Gumi Yakuza Syndicate. The Tenryu Gumi operates a lending firm called the Takarada Financing, and these two have been tasked with collecting outstanding debts. They've already collected from one client today. Next, they plan on grabbing lunch before heading off to find their next target. And some of them stop to form a small crowd. The sales demo has already started by now. I don't have time to goof around here. I watch as Miku starts up her footwork. Huh! A left jab. She's quick. I can see why she's the champion. Yeah. She immediately follows up the jab with a wide right hook. But wait a minute. What's a hook? It's a type of punch. It involves swinging the arm in a wide arc to strike the opponent from the side. In mixed martial arts, it's common to see a fighter continue the momentum from a hook to catch the opponent by the arm, transitioning immediately into a takedown and pin. I jerk aside at the last possible moment and deliver a little swat to Miku's shoulder. Whoa! She slips off balance and pinches forward. Oh wow! What was that? The crowd has started clamoring. Miku rights herself and gets back into a fighting stance. Look at the guy on the right. What the? How? She doesn't seem to know what just happened. Rah! This time, I watch as she unleashes a kick with her left leg from a distance. On reflex, I bring up my right hand and adopt a guarding stance. Gotcha, she calls out. It was a feint. What? Nani? There's a visceral whump as a second kick connects, coming at me from a different angle. Whoa, what gives? My big mascot head serves to cushion the blow to the point that I barely feel it. Hiya! She proceeds to unleash a string of additional kicks with her left leg, trying to defeat my fuzzy armor. Finally, eventually I catch hold of her foot, holding her off balance. I begin to walk her backwards, making her hop awkwardly on one leg. Gwah! A casual flip of my paw and Miku goes whirling through the air. Whoa! Oh! Ah! The crowd erupts into cheering and applause at the spectacle. Whew, you're tough. Who the heck are you? As you can see, I'm a cat. A wry smile comes to Miku's face. To think a bride competitor would lose in a street fight. Guess it's time to go back to being an ordinary girl. Today's the day I retire. Whew. Good match there. Miku clasps my hand firmly. But hey, I'm just glad that my last opponent was you. Oh. Can love truly bloom on the battlefield? No longer a tomboy. That's right. I hoist up the boxes of the diet drink. So how much does this come to? I asked the sales clerk. He shakes his head. Oh, don't worry about payment. You've more than earned it with that spectacular display just now. That was really something. Heck, even I'm shocked at what just happened. It's amazing what a little desperation will do for you. That move you use, that was some Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah? What? It's a traditional Japanese martial art that emphasizes learning to anticipate an opponent's first move and instantaneously counterattack. Skilled practitioners can toss and throw opponents with a simple touch. The art predates the development of the more pacifistic Aikido. And so some dangerous techniques still remain. Huh? Oh, I guess. Tilt my head non-committedly. Come now, no need to be so humble. I'm a martial arts fanatic. I know my moves when I see them. The knick-knack shop owner, Taisei Yasuda, watches roughly 350 martial arts fights a year. What? He is particularly fond of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and is thinking about studying it himself. There's a dojo he's been eyeing, but he's rather timid and has thus so far only waffled non-committedly outside the entrance to the place. Oh. He can call it whatever he wants if he's letting me have the drinks for free. This is going to be a lifesaver. Is that all the shopping you'll be doing with us today? He asked. Actually, come to think of it, I do have one request. Sure thing. Could you please not sell that necklace there? I promise I'll be back to buy it later. Sure, no problem. The sales clerk gives a deep bow. I did it. I managed to solve my burning hammer problem. Now I've just got to get back to the sales demo. Oh, that must be awfully heavy. Here, why don't you use that dolly? The sales clerk indicates the hand truck over in the corner. Oh, thank you so much. I load the pile of boxes onto the cart and rush back to the Nokani building. By now, the sales demo will be well underway. I need to get back as soon as I can. If there's nothing to buy, the customers are gonna leave, and everything I've gone through will have been for nothing. Come on, Tama, you can do it. Just gotta hurry. I charged for the demo, pushing the dolly ahead of me like a battering ram. Ah, oops, sorry to keep you waiting. You're late. What the heck have you been doing? Mr. Yanagishita practically throws himself at me. The weight must have been killing him. Standing behind him is a man I don't recognize. Huh? Jump it! No, we can't. Can't jump. Who is that guy? He doesn't look like a customer. Okay, Tama. Just come with me for a minute. I follow Mr. Yanagishita into the break room. Sorry I'm late. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened. But look, I've got the product back. I proudly open up one of the cardboard boxes. Ah, it's Burning Hammer. It really, really is. Yanagishita clutches the box close, nuzzling it with his cheek. How's the demo going, I ask. I've got Chiri keeping them occupied with some magic tricks. Oh my god. She chugging. I sneak a peek through the door and I see Chiri guzzling orange juice from a gigantic container, draining it in one go. Chiri, you're gonna die. Your insulin. Is that really a magic trick? If it buys us time, it's magic enough. Before long, the last of the juice is gone. Oh, look at those old ladies. Oh, amazing. Wonderful. Before long, the last of the juice is gone. Over in the corner of the stage, I see 6 more huge containers. Chiri, your bladder's gonna explode. It's shocking to think that she may have drunk all 7 of those things dry. The audience erupts into silence of sincere applause, like they've forgotten what they originally came here for. Streaming prep. That's a pretty good one. Chiri comes back into the break room, positively drenched in sweat. I think I should have stuck to doing imitations for a little while longer. No, that was fantastic, Chiri. Just fantastic. Thanks to you, we've got enough time to get the Burning Hammer back. He bows profusely. Alright, now it's time for the main event. Chiri, go out there and guzzle down some Burning Hammer. Get yourself all drenched in sweat. Got it? Aye aye, boss. And Tama, just go up there, smile all big, and say, this helped me lose a bunch of weight too. Got it? Got it. Good. Now then. Yanagishita gestures to a man I hadn't noticed before, who's been waiting quietly nearby. Of course, begging your pardon, miss. It's a service rep from the rental shop, who proceeds to try to get me out of the mascot suit. It's Masamichi Fukuma, an employee of the Far East Costume Rentals, the only son of the company president, Shigemishi Fukuma. He is one of the few people who knows what Shigemishi looks like, as his father is usually clad in a rabbit costume. Oh, he's a furry. Masamichi has harbored a strong dislike for both his father and mascot costumes ever since the old man showed up at school on Parents' Day one year dressed in his inevitable rabbit suit. Nonetheless, the Soon has acquiesced to his father's wishes, and someday he'll inherit the family business. Huh. Oh, that's odd. The rental guy tilts his head. What's the matter? Yanagishita asks nervously. Yeah, this is a no-go. The rental guy pokes his finger at the back of my suit. This here zipper? It's all jammed up. It's gonna take a long time to get this thing off. What the hell? Mr. Yanagishita clutches the side of his head. The rental guy tries tugging at the costume from various angles, hoping to free up the zipper, but, like you said, it's no use. Meow! The rental guy's eyes widen at the sudden sound of a cat's mewling. Was that you? He looks at me confused. Did you hear a cat meowing? Yes. Was it you? No, not me. I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as he is. Must be hearing things. Mr. Yanagishita and Chiri don't seem to have heard anything. Morgana. Ah! Yanagishita is fuming. Just my luck. I finally find a cute model, and the crowd's never gonna see her. Hey, boss, Chiri says. The customers are gonna leave if you keep them waiting this much longer. What do we do? Want me to go out there and do some more impressions? Chiriko's repertoire of impressions. 1. A sea lion yawning. 2. A harbor seal hailing a cab. 3. A walrus reading sutras. 4. A fur seal who can't reach the itchy spot on its back. 5. A stellar sea lion taking a nap. 1 impression Andy. No, we don't have any choice. Amma, you're just gonna have to go out there dressed like that. Are you sure? If those people go home, we're done for. Just go out there and get started. I'm counting on you two. Ladies, terribly sorry to keep you waiting. Oh, they are not impressed. Chiri and I spring into action on stage. But now, I am proud to introduce you the worldwide sensation that is Burning Hammer. The latest product from the West that has taken the diet world by storm. Every seat in the house is packed. That means there are about 40 people here. We only need to sell 5 bottles to each customer in order to sell out. I'm hit with a sudden jolt of motivation. Allow us to explain just how this revolutionary new diet drink works its magic, Chiri begins. The plan is for me to describe how the drink works, and then Chiri will demonstrate it with a taste test. All eyes are fixed on us. I begin. For the first time in human history, you can drink a single bottle and lose a whole kilogram. Just drink and burn that excess weight away. Astonished gasps rise up from the crowd. Just take a look at this marvelous red liquid. Even looking at it makes you feel like you'll be shedding weight, right? Here's how Burning Hammer works. It activates the capsaicin found in chili peppers. What the hell is that? It's the primary spice component of chili peppers, said to be effective for improving blood flow and stimulating the burning of fat. Because it is a severe skin and eye irritant, it is also an ingredient in some forms of pepper spray for personal defense. I pause to take a deep breath before continuing. And, rapidly breaks down the triglycerides responsible for causing obesity. What's obesity? I don't know what that is. Though the term is frequently used in recent years to simply refer to the state of being overweight, obesity in the clinical sense is a medical condition involving the interrelated health issues including excess body fat, hyperlipidemia, and hyperglycemia. Individuals suffering from obesity are at high risk of complications such as coronary heart disease, diabetes, and sleep apnea. Again, the crowd hums with excitement. This response is better than I could have hoped. We're off to a terrific start. And now this young lady here will demonstrate Burning Hammer's effects before your very eyes. Chiri steps into the spotlight. Just wait till you see how much she sweats. Proof that the fat is being burned right there on the spot. Chiri holds a bottle of Burning Hammer up high. Cheers, she says. She opens the bottle. However, one of the women in the front row speaks up. Hold on. She's already sweating pretty hard. She's right. Chiri's drenched in sweat from head to toe. Another woman chimes in. Sus. That juice drinking from earlier. That was all just to make her sweat like that, weren't it? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The jig is up. All of us... I used sus at work yesterday. Oh, no. Oh, no. All of a sudden, the crowd is in an uproar. No, not at all. Drinking Burning Hammer makes you sweat way more than this. I rushed to towel off Chiri's sweat from her. Go on, hurry up. Drink it down. Chiri's face screws up unpleasantly as she gulps down the bottle. I was trying to be relatable to my Zoomer employees. Good job. Did it work? And the sweat doesn't come. Why isn't it working? I exclaim. The audience momentarily forgotten. I guess I already sweated out too much, Chiri replies, unfazed. Well, why were you sweating so much? Look, you were taking forever at the 100-yen shop. Oh no! Angry Japanese woman? Look at that. The crowd shifts from an uproar to a riot. Did she just say 100-yen shop? Scowling customers begin to close in. No, that's not it. You've got it all wrong. Please just listen. Oh, we can see what's going on here. The situation has gotten out of our control. Look, this product is so valuable that only a 100-yen shop is about the only way we could have gotten it. Uh-oh. I think I just put my foot in it. Customers glare at me, their eyes bright with rage. Please, let me apologize. Asking for forgiveness seems to be my only option. Ha ha ha! Kidding. It was just a joke. I gotta play this off smooth. Hunk a lamb chop. It's a clumsy attempt to force it off, but it's my only option. Hunk a lamb chop? Hunk a lamb chop. It's a clumsy attempt to force it off, but it's my only option. She said, hunk a lamb chop, I repeat. Meaning that Burning Hammer is just so incredibly filling, having just one tiny bottle will feel like you've eaten a big, meaty meal. Yeah, that's what she meant. Uh-huh, sneers one customer. Sure. Do they really sell this at 100-yen shops? Rats. We didn't manage to distract them. 100-yen shop? What's that? Answer me! Do they really sell these at 100? Look, I cry. It's the chupacabra. I thrust my arm out to point, only to accidentally catch one of the attendees in the head with my fuzzy fist. The woman lets out a muted groan and sinks to the ground unconscious. The rest of the crowd stares at me stunned. Oops. I murmur. Tama! Shouts Mr. Yanagishita, rushing out of the pt.8 room. What the heck are you doing? Abort! Abort! He howls. If you let these people know the truth about this stuff, they'll never buy it. Uh-oh, now you've done it. Chiri doesn't hesitate to point the finger at him, her stare ferocious. Whoops. Realizing what he just blurted out, Mr. Yanagishita is aghast. Uh-oh. Now, there's really no saving this. The customers descend on Mr. Yanagishita, the wrath, a terror to behold. So then it is true. What the hell are you trying to pull? I can't believe you'd try to sell this crap for these prices. They're all laughing. The throng goes on the attack. Help! Shiri and I force our way through the angry mob, hoping to find some way to calm these people down. Oh no! Cursing and profanity fill the air. The shouts are accompanied by merciless, open-hand slaps. No! How can she slap? I get all jostled and tumbled about, and my mascot costume takes a bad beating. Finally, the storm passes. No. Not like this. It's over. It's all over. Mr. Yanagishita wails to the empty room. So, boss, about getting paid? Even Chiri seems hesitant to ask. Yeah, that's not gonna happen, obviously. Yanagishita doesn't so much as look up. His shoulders slump further in defeat. I'll take payment in kind then, Chiri says. Mind if I take this burning hammer home with me? Sure, Yanagishita says lifelessly. Go right ahead. Alright, I'll be off then. Later, Tama. Chiri picks up the cardboard boxes and heads out. Sir? It's the man from the rental place. I believe you still owe me for the costume rentals? Oh, right. How much was it again? Mr. Yanagishita rummages in his pockets. Well, given the severe damage, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to add the full cost of the costume to your bill. Your total comes to 200,000 yen. What's that? 200 yen? No, sir, it's 200,000. Huh? Sorry, I can't hear at all. I think I might have ruptured my eardrum. 200,000 yen, sir. Okay. Yanagishita takes all the cash he has in his wallet and holds it out reluctantly. That's only 20,000, sir. The rental guy furrows his brow. I'm afraid this won't cover it. Oh, look at the cat costume. I understand that, but I don't got more than this. Don't got more? Sir, please, you're not a child. Give me a discount. Make it 20,000. Instead of the 200 you owe? You know I can't do that, sir. But Mr. Yanagishita refuses to back down. Ah, that's right. Insurance. I got insurance in the event that the suit would wind up damaged. No, you didn't. No, I did. You did not, sir. No, I did. Then where's your paperwork to prove it? Yanagishita calmly clasps a hand to his chest. Right here. The paperwork is here inside my heart. The rental guy clutches the sides of his head in exasperation. And believe me, I feel his pain. You know what? Never mind. I'm gonna leave this to my boss. His boss is Shigemishi Fukuma, the president and owner of Far East Costume Rentals, notable for the fact that he's usually wearing his favorite rabbit costume. To Shigemishi, his costumes are like his children. If he were to hear that one of his suits has been ruined, he would probably never forgive Yanagishita. adding to the man's already considerable list of enemies. Turning his back on the ruins of the sales demo, he slumps his way out of the room. Now it's just me and Mr. Yanagishita. Please try not to get it. Please try not to let it get you down so much, sir. I say as cheerfully as I can muster. He's already down on the floor, a sobbing mess. You wouldn't know what it's like to feel so utterly hopeless. I think I might have an idea, sir. In fact, I'm sure of it. At this point, there's nothing more I could possibly do. He slumps forward, trembling like a willow tree. Things will turn around soon enough, I'm sure. You don't know me like I know me, he says. There's not gonna be any turnaround. Not after this. Okay, now this little pity party is starting to piss me off. You know, if you think you're the only one, if you think you're the only person who's had a run of bad luck, you're dead wrong. I wind up shouting the words louder than I intended. Mr. Yanagishita whiffs his head back up. Yikes, where did that come from? I need to tell you something. My pent-up emotions come surging to the surface. I have amnesia. Yanagishita's eyes go wide. What? I can't remember anything from before this morning. What does that mean? In short, amnesia. Amnesia can have a variety of causes. Psychogenic amnesia is caused by stress or psychological trauma, whereas in endogenous amnesia, a powerful blow to the head causes physical trauma to the brain. In the latter cases, memories and other normal functions frequently return once the cranial nerves recover. My name, how old I am, where I live, any of it. I would much rather be in your shoes, sir. Mr. Yanagishita looks at me with a hint of disbelief. So where'd you get the name Tama then? I thought of it when I saw the tamagoyaki in those lunchboxes. The hell is tamagoyaki? Aha! Tamagoyaki, Tama. I get it. He clasps himself on the thighs as if he had some big eureka moment. Oh, wait. How come you lost your memories? Well, I don't know for certain, obviously. I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure I took a hard blow to the head. When I came to, I was inside of a storehouse with a massive headache. A storehouse. A surge of vertigo washes through me as I recall waking up in that strange dim place. Yeah, I had just gotten out of there when you flagged me down, sir. Huh, really? So, is it pretty unnerving then, not knowing who you are? He sounds like he's taking me seriously now. Yeah, sure is. But it's not gonna do me any good just to fret over it. And besides, I've got a clue. What sort of clue? There's a necklace I saw at a knick-knack shop. The same place I found the burning hammer. Somehow, I know that that's important to me. And so you took this job so you can afford to buy it. Of course. Now that the job has ended in a total bust, I lost my shot at getting it. Okay then. Mr. Yanagishita removes his shoe and yanks out the insole. This here really is the last of my money. He pulls out 20,000 yen, adds it to the other 20,000 from his wallet, and thrusts it all towards me. Here you go, he says. And that includes the reimbursement for the burning hammer you picked up. I pluck up 2 of the 10,000 yen bills between my fingertips. I actually didn't have to pay for it, so 20,000 yen we agreed upon is fine. But how about you, sir? Are you gonna be okay? Like, after this? Compared to your misfortunes, mine are nothing. They might send me up the creek without a paddle, but I'll bounce back somehow, I'm sure of it. And then, clutching his fist, Mr. Yanagishita gets a far-off look in his eye. And then, one more time, I'm gonna go see a bride fight. My jaw nearly drops. Bride, like the martial arts pub? Wait, you know about Bride? Man, I spent so much money at that place. Wow, it is a small world. Especially that Miku. I wonder how much she has made me spend. Miku, huh? I'm pretty sure I just accidentally forced her into retirement, but I decided to keep quiet on that front. To be honest, the reason I borrowed all that money was to pay my tabs at that place. And I had to borrow from some pretty shady sources too. I can't help but suspect that this poor guy got a real raw deal. Why don't you take that mascot costume with you, huh? I mean, I don't really need it. No, I insist. Take it with my blessing. Sure. I'll be on my way then. Did we somehow pick the right choice? It sure seems like it. Out in the hallway, I passed by the man I noticed earlier. The one I didn't recognize. Wait a minute. That man. Can't jump. Odd. The sales demo is over. I wonder why he's still here. I give him a faint nod, and he nods back before slipping into the demo room. I should keep my fingers crossed for the guy. At last, I'm back outside the building. I feel bad about not returning the catsuit to the man from the rental place. Still, I can't just walk around town wearing this thing. I'll stick out like a sore thumb. I figure it's best just to leave it behind. And then it dawns on me. Hold on. I still can't get this thing off. It's time I skin this cat. I need to get rid of this costume, whatever it takes. It's not worth the struggle. I guess this cat's staying in the bag. I figure I'll head to the knick-knack shop as is. You guys want to keep the costume, eh? I guess this cat's staying in the bag. Wait, what does that mean? A popular folk etymology asserts that the expression, "let the cat out of the bag," comes from the unscrupulous practices of certain farmers who would sell a pig at market only to deceive the buyer by surreptitiously swapping out the purchased porker for a cat. The likelihood of anyone mistaking a cat, even one inside a bag, for a pig is, however, extremely low, let alone the likelihood that enough people would fall for such a scheme to warrant a phrase referring to it entering the language. I figure I'll head to the knick-knack shop as is. Keep out though. Let's go see Minorikawa. I'm gonna start a ruckus. I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna be heartbroken. Well, let's try 8. I'm gonna be heartbroken. He kept his expression blank as an empty slate. Hey now. No need for that, sir. I'll just settle down. Who doesn't like a little silly magic show now and then? You've got 2 minutes. Hey, a minute can't have passed already. 1 minute. Whoa! Just what kind of watch you got there? Tell me why the demo isn't starting. No real reason, really. The man was getting seriously flustered. I just, wanted folks to get to see a little magic show first. Nope, try again. 30 seconds left. Okay, all right. What happened is, the required merchandise, What happened to the merchandise? Minorikawa demanded. He gave the guy a dagger stare. Well, it's just that, Time's up. What? The man's face went pale. Oh. And I guess this is where I jump to him. Oh, is it too early? Oops, sorry to keep you waiting. Man, I don't recognize. There we go. There's the jump. Oops, sorry to keep you waiting, a girlish voice exclaimed. A moment later, a furry figure came charging into the demo room. The crowd fell silent at the sight of a young woman in a cat costume. The girl panted visibly. Her arms were loaded with cardboard boxes. You're late, the event organizer snapped. What the heck have you been doing? Grabbing the newcomer by one paw, he vanished with her in the back room. The chubby cheek girl wrapped up her magic routine and hurried after them. The audience stared at the now empty stage in confusion. Several minutes passed before the organizer reappeared. Ladies, terribly sorry to have kept you waiting, he called out. But now I am proud to introduce to you the worldwide sensation that is Burning Hammer. At his signal, the young woman and the cat appeared on stage. Allow us to explain just how this revolutionary new diet drink works its magic, the young woman explained cheerily. The cat nodded and threw out her arms. For the first time in human history, you can now drink a single bottle and lose a whole kilogram. Just drink, and burn that excess weight away. And with that, the sales demo was underway. A good 25 minutes behind schedule. Five minutes into the presentation, things began to go awry. An angry clamor filled the room. What the heck are you trying to pull? I can't believe you'd actually try to sell something like this. The outrage had been triggered by something the young woman on stage had said. She had inadvertently let slip that Burning Hammer was the sort of thing you could buy at a 100-yen shop. The would-be customers were furious to learn that they were about to be played for suckers. Most of them had immediately tried to storm out of the room. Now the organizer, the full-figured young woman, and the girl in the cat costume were at the door, doing their best to hold the tide. Things had gotten pretty interesting, really. Minorikawa pulled out his digital camera. What is a digital camera? Well, some modern digital cameras come with the remarkable ability to automatically trigger the shutter when the subject smiles. This function also works if the camera is presented with a TV or photo image of people smiling. There are even cases of cameras recognizing faces in the wood grain of ceilings. After all, if we can make out faces in the wood when we're gazing lazily up at the ceiling, We can't fault the camera for doing the same. Woodface. And started firing snapshots at the angry crowd. Unfortunately, their frenzy was so intense that he was soon caught up with the flow and pushed out of the room. Fine, I'll just need to do some interviews instead of getting pictures. Excuse me, he asked one woman. Would you mind if I asked you some... Shut your mouth! What happened? Would you mind telling me about... Don't you talk to me! Can I get a word on... Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. The women were so enraged that Minarakawa couldn't get any of them to give him the time of day. Before long, the entire crowd has surged out of the room and departed. Ah, well, guess I've got enough to do a write-up at least. That would be nice to get a quote from somebody. He decided to try for an interview with the man who organized this fiasco. How did the guy feel, for instance, about his product scam falling through? Heading back to the event room, Minarakawa passed by the cat mascot. Oh, we could jump to Tama. But we don't need to. The cat gave him a tiny nod and walked off without a word. He couldn't see the face of the girl inside the costume, but she seems genuinely dejected that Burning Hammer had been a bust. Hey, I'm Minoru Minarakawa, freelance reporter. I was wondering if I could have 5 minutes of your time. The organizer sat alone in the midst of his ruined displays. Oh, it's you. The van's voice had lost all of its earlier punch. Here, my credentials. Minarakawa handed him a business card. The man introduced himself as Yanagashita, and Minarakawa got right down to business. So your sales demo is over, Mr. Yanagashita. How do you feel right now? How do I feel? Well, tomorrow's another day, I guess. Minarakawa was impressed by the guy's candor. I'm a little surprised to hear that, he said. I figured you'd be more disappointed. Oh, I'm plenty disappointed. I took a big gamble here to repay my debts, and I lost. Yanagashita didn't seem to be trying to hide anything. Debts? Minarakawa asked. There was a girl I was in love with, Yanagashita said. I wound up spending everything on her. He stared wistfully into the distance. Ah, interesting, Minarakawa said. You wouldn't be the first man to go to such lengths for a woman. Yeah, Yanagashita said. I suppose not. A rueful smile crossed his lips. This guy didn't strike Minarakawa as some dyed-in-the-wool scam artist. But I decided that it was time to stop feeling sorry for myself, Yanagashita went on. There are plenty of people in the world who've had it way worse off. You know, you got that right. Minarakawa nodded in agreement. So I just figured, well, as long as I'm still alive, maybe another opportunity will come my way. A more earnest smile broke through Yanagashita's forlorn expression. Minarakawa wished Toyama could have been there to hear this fella. I've got a friend who's in an incredible amount of debt myself, Minarakawa said. He runs a publishing company, but there was a big mix-up with the scratch cards in his magazine and... Scratch cards? That's not important, Minarakawa said hurriedly. Letting more people know about the whole scratch card fiasco certainly wouldn't do Toyama any favors. Anyway, that's a terrible thing, Minarakawa nodded sagely. Oh, by the way, this is unrelated, but are you familiar with a group called SOS? Apparently, there's some legendary street gang here in Shibuya. SOS? Yanagashita shook his head. Nope, never heard of them. Guess I'm not gonna get any leads on that case here. Minarakawa wondered if there was anything else worth asking this guy. Maybe Yanagashita would be willing to take his Shibuya Now survey. No, nothing really came to mind. It was about time to wrap this up. Are we gonna give him the survey? Why not? Maybe Yanagashita would be willing to take his Shibuya Now survey. Taking a little bit of the burden off of Chiaki seems like a good idea. I have another question. How do you feel about your life right now? Huh? How do you feel about your life? Products aren't selling. You can't repay your debts, and yet you still refuse to give up, believing opportunity will come your way. How do you feel about all of that? Yanagashita paused and thought. I'd say I'm a pretty lucky guy. Minarakawa was taken somewhat aback by that response. I haven't been able to sell any burning hammer. And sure, I can't pay off my debts, but even so... Yanagashita looked Minarakawa right in the eye. The two cute young girls I've got working for me have stuck with me through thick and thin. Sometimes, maybe you just need to be content with something like that, you know? That was refreshingly forthright. Minarakawa was surprised. And I mean, so what if I've got debts? Yanagashita went on. In the long run, none of that matters. Not really. There was a knock on the door. Oh, excuse me a moment, Yanagashita said. I wonder who could that be? He opened the door and his face froze. Damn! Wasn't quite quick enough. Mr. Minarakawa? Yes? You'll have to pardon me. I've had a little something crop up here, so if you don't mind. Oh sure, no problem. I've got other interviews I need to get to anyways, so I'll just... But Yanagashita was out the door before Minarakawa could even finish. Stepping out in the hallway, Minarakawa could faintly hear voices from the adjoining demo room. It sounded like Mr. Yanagashita and two other men. Minarakawa couldn't make out any words, but he could tell they were arguing about something. There was probably some customer complaint against one of his products or an issue with a client company. Something along those lines. Man, people who run companies sure have it rough. You hang in there, Mr. Yanagashita. Oh, perfect timing. Minarakawa stopped short as a familiar voice called out to him. It was the man he'd spoken to earlier that afternoon about surveillance cameras. Hey, come here for a sec. The man waved him over. What is it? I'm real busy right now. I've got a scoop for you. Saw it with my own eyes. Minarakawa raised an eyebrow. Give me the details. Okay, so a little while ago, I saw some foreign guy in handcuffs arguing with someone who looked like a detective. A foreigner in handcuffs? Had there been some kind of international sting or something? Whatever the case, it wasn't such a rare thing to see. Where was this? Just over here, behind the police station. Minarakawa furrowed his brow. A suspect arguing with a cop outside a police station wasn't all that weird. Still, he had a feeling he was missing something here. Well, the big thing is what happened afterwards, the man said. Afterward? The man leaned in, conspiratorially. The detective undid the guy's handcuffs and let him run off. Whoa, what? I'm telling you, man. It had to been like a bribe or something. Bribe? That seemed unlikely. I swear that's what it had to be. There was some wheel greasing going on. You're not making all this up, are you? Minorikawa asked. He regarded the man coldly, but the guy still seemed quite legitimately worked up. It's all true. Please, you have to report this to the police right away. Why do I have to do it? Minorikawa asked. If you have a tip for the police, go give it yourself. He didn't quite manage to stop himself from saying that out loud. I can't. I'm no good when it comes to the police. Besides, they're never gonna believe someone like me. Okay, so maybe he had a point there. But you're some world-class reporter, right? The cops will totally take your word over some random nobody. Minorikawa didn't have the time to debate the point. It was easier just to make the call. He phoned up the police to leave the tip. The man bowed repeatedly, looking pretty grateful. Oh, thank you so much. I haven't been able to get any business done with those scary thugs around. What thugs? What line of business are you in anyways? What? The man suddenly went pale. Oops. I gotta get going. He skittered off in alarm. Minorikawa was left to wonder what this guy's line of work actually was. But he had more important things to worry about at the moment. He hurried off in the other direction. Before long, he arrived back at Café Lautrec. The clock on the wall showed that it was close to 2 o'clock. He had to somehow fill 6 more pages before the loan company came to Heaven Publishing to collect. He booted up his laptop. What's with this coffee shop? He said in a low, stern voice. We've got no good magazines here. Minorikawa looked up. An older man was complaining to one of the waitresses. It was the same man who'd been yelling at his daughter earlier. Evidently, he'd been here at the cafe this whole time. Haven't you got any magazines for me to read? The man's face was a mask of irritation. Minorikawa glanced at the magazines in the rack. They were mostly geared towards a younger reader. The waitress sifted through the stacks and pulled something from the back. Perhaps this would be to your liking, sir, she said. She held out an issue of 4-Star General Gossip. Don't be ridiculous, the man spat dismissively. This is vulgar, low-grade filth. I wouldn't even use the paper it's printed on for compost. That was a harsh way to put it, but Minorikawa couldn't fault him for speaking the truth. The man continued grumbling as he went back to his seat. Minorikawa headed over to the magazine rack himself and picked up the gossip. He opened up the front cover and found the scratch card still inserted within. If these things were still out there, it would be bad news. Toyama might end up further in debt. Bah! Minorikawa yanked the scratch card out and tore it to bits. Sir, what are you doing? The waitress rushed to stop him, only for the pieces to rain down on her like confetti. The magazine itself is still perfectly readable, Minorikawa said. There's no problem here. He strode back to his seat and gazed at the laptop screen. Vulgar low-grade filth. The man is watching a Lucky stream. I'm very not vulgar. And our filth is high grade. It still hadn't finished booting up, jeez. In the meantime, he decided to give Chiaki a call. She picked up right away. Hello? Hello, Minorikawa asked. Hi there, good to hear from you, Chiaki replied. How's the progress? I did it, Chiaki said, her voice overcome with emotion. I managed to get people to hear me out. Of course you did. You got your pointers from me. Yes, I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Mino. Her mood had done a complete 180. Minorikawa allowed himself a little sigh of relief. Okay then. Head back to the editing department and put together an article for me. You got it, sir, Chiaki chirped in reply. I'll email you as soon as I'm done with things on my end, Minorikawa told her. Just use the DTP to slot your piece into the right spot in the layout. Abbreviation for desktop publishing. Refers to the process of editing a manuscript's layout on a computer preparatory to sending it to the printer. Also used to refer to the software used for creating such layouts. Creating layout data that is ready for printing but has not actually been printed yet is also something called DTP. Sure thing. Minorikawa hung up and rolled up his sleeves. He sure was towing a pretty narrow line today. The Burning Hammer event had kept him a little longer than anticipated. Now he needed to clean up his copy as soon as possible in order to stick to his schedule. When he turned back towards his laptop, however, he froze with shock. What? His laptop monitor was still a black, empty screen. There was no way it would take this long to finish booting up. Oh, it couldn't be. No, 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 no. Don't let it be true. Had his computer decided to pick now of all times to give up the ghost? Minorikawa felt the blood drain from his face. To be continued. Okay, so we got to be continued on Minorikawa, and that's the only one. So I guess we're going Aki. We already did this. Okay, that was crazy. Tomi panted as she caught her breath. Well, you know what they say. Idle feet are the devil's playthings. It's idle hands. Whatever. At least they had gotten away. Come on, let's go. Aki led the way down several twisting side streets before slowing his pace. By now, Hitomi was slumped and panting heavily. He wanted to give her some time to rest, but if they just hung around, their pursuers might still find them. He looked around and spotted a multi-tenant building. The nearest door was open. Bundles of flyers were set out near the entrance. Flyers. The flyers for Au Revoir, the 22nd performance by the theater troupe The Wandering Angels. It tells the tale of a man named Ryu looking back on his 100-year life as a warrior. The performance features wire action as its major set piece, with Ryu and his rival Shido, flying high through the air, doing battle with the magical Muramasa blade and beam saber, respectively. Aki peeked inside and saw piles of plywood and painted lumber. Looks like this was a storeroom for theater stage props and scenery. We can hide out in here, he said. But Hitomi hesitated, but Aki gave her hand a little tug. It'll be fine. There's nobody around. They stepped inside the storeroom, and Aki quickly shut the door behind them. We should probably rest for a bed, he said. There was a wooden platform set up beside a large piece of plywood. Aki picked up a magazine that had fallen on the floor and spread it atop the platform's dusty surface. Here. Now you can sit without getting your clothes dirty. Thank you. Hitomi quickly took a seat. We should probably turn off our cell phones, Aki said. It could really be bad if they rang at the wrong moment. The two powered off their phones. Aki took a cursory look around. It didn't look like there was a way in or out besides the door they come in through. There was a single window set in the wall, but it wouldn't open far enough to let them through. Ah! Hitomi let out a quiet gasp. Someone was outside the storeroom. Aki put a finger on his lips, and Hitomi gave a fearful nod. The window's frosted glass blocked any real view in or out, so as long as they stayed quiet, they ought to be safe. Whoever was outside pressed their face to the frosted glass, trying to get a glimpse inside. The blurry visage of the foreigner who'd attacked them was dimly visible. Like the man with the cane before him, this guy was quick to catch up. The man pounded on the glass. Aki swallowed the lump in his throat. If this guy got in, they had nowhere to run. Aki turned to Hitomi. Let's hurry out through the door. We'll be fine. Just sit tight. We'll be fine. Sit tight. Hitomi clutched onto Aki's arm hard. Can I help you with something? Said a casual voice from outside. They saw their pursuer react at once, pulling back from the window. That's just our storeroom, you know, the voice added. Aki heard footsteps scampering away. The kidnapper had run off. Aki exchanged glances with Hitomi and let out a tiny sigh. There were more voices coming from outside now. What was up with that guy? I don't know. Whatever. Let's just hurry and get the stuff tidied up. Huh. Man, my throat's raw. Sounded like a conversation between two men. The storeroom door opened, and the men clomped their way inside. Who are those men? Well, it's Tomonari Takaya and Taro Toga, two members of the theater troupe, the Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering Angels star actor, playing the lead role of Ryu in today's performance of Au revoir, the troupe's 22nd piece. Last night, he slept completely naked and caught a cold. Okay. leading to the sore throat he has now. Koga is the stage director, handling things behind the scenes. He's very irritated that Shinichi Bando, in charge of the props, seems to have gone AWOL. That's not how colds work. Yes. If you go naked at any point in your life, you will get a cold. So what are we getting? Let's grab all those folding chairs over there. Huh? The producer said we're going to need a lot more seats all of a sudden. Mr. Orai said that? I don't know how to say that. Going all out for the troops last hurrah, huh? Beats me, man. Explains why Lucky's always ill. I'm never ill. Beats me, man. In no real hurry, the men went about carting the folding chairs away. They didn't notice Aki and Hitomi sitting silently in the shadows. Not to change the subject, but how come we're using a dry ice machine and not a smoke machine? Oh, alright. Okay. Maybe that's why my throat's bothering me. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Nobody's even operating it and it's still drawing a ton of power. I think it's defective. Aki and Hitomi waited for the two men to finish up. If they were spotted, it would probably cause a scene. And worse still, it might alert the two men who were hunting them. Once they carried off the rest of the folding chairs, the men closed the storeroom door. The foreigner could still be somewhere nearby, though. So Aki decided they should hide out in the room a little longer. This blows. I want to get back out there to look for that blue van ASAP, but... Aki trailed off as something occurred to him. Wait a second. Now that's weird. Hitomi looked at him inquiringly. The kidnappers already have the ransom money, yeah? Aki said. Yeah, that's right. And then they told you that your sister was in some blue minivan. Isn't that kind of weird? What do you mean? Did you figure that your sister was in the minivan by herself? Well, yes. If one of the kidnappers were with her, they wouldn't need to send me to go get her. Right, Aki said. Yet the fact was, as soon as the kidnappers had their money, they could have let Hitomi's sister out of the vehicle and just run off. There was no point in sending Hitomi to fetch her personally. A look of revelation dawned on Hitomi's face. Oh. That minivan had already left Ogenzaka, she said. And it came back while we were there waiting for it, Aki finished. He thought back to his earlier run-in with the blue vehicle. So inside that minivan, there had been a bunch of foreigners inside, which meant the kidnappers had been trying to ambush Hitomi. The kidnappers didn't have any intention of giving her sister back. The kidnappers had been trying to ambush Hitomi. They told her that her sister was in that minivan to lure her to it, and the kidnappers had been lying in wait inside. Do you think they were trying to kidnap me too? That's it. Aki clapped his hands together. Then they'd let your sister go and demand a ransom for you. And then they'd make her deliver the ransom money for your release. They'd be able to get like infinite ransom money. The plan. By constantly abducting one twin after the other. That seems a little far-fetched. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Now that she said so, Aki realized that it was kind of a ridiculous idea. Still, what if the kidnappers really were trying to kidnap me, Hitomi said. That's why you never have two children? That's right. Then you're not stuck in an infinite loop. As in, like, they accidentally abducted the wrong twin? I mean, I guess that would have been easy to botch up. That would imply that they wanted me specifically and not my sister. Hitomi paused briefly and thought. Maybe you're hotter than your sister or something? Aki suggested with enthusiasm. Hitomi shook her head. That can't be it. If anything, it's the other way around. Compared to my sister, I'm just... whoa, hey there. Stop that right there. Aki had to interrupt her. You're not just anything. Please don't. I'm just... Tears had welled up in Hitomi's eyes. Why? Why did it have to happen to her? Why not me? Whoa, hey, come on. Don't cry. I'm sorry. Cheer up. It's like that song says. Don't just stand there. Wipe those tears away. That one. You know it? Is that Aya Kamiki? Full circle. Yeah, that's the one. Put your hand in mine. Every single bee's alight. Wait, what? Huh? You know, every single bee's alight? Hitomi let out a giggle. Everything will be all right. You idiot! Huh? You got the lyrics wrong. It's everything will be all right. Ah, right. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. I guess. Hey, there's Tsunage. Aki's mouth curled into a sheepish smile. Are the Habs gonna win tonight? No. They're gonna lose to the Ottawa Senators tonight. All right, I think we've laid low long enough, Aki said at last. I think we should be on our way. He was about to get to his feet when he heard voices outside the storeroom again. Yikes, that was pretty careless of us. Yeah, we definitely gotta watch it. Should I bet the spread? You should bet on Ottawa. And if the Habs win, I'm sorry. The theater guys. Well, that's Tomonari Takaya. No, Takaya and Taro Toga. I don't know why that name messes with me. Two members of the theater troupe, the Wandering Angels. Takaya is the Wandering... Yeah, we already know this. He's the Wandering Angels star actor, but lately, in addition to appearing on their stage, he's been taking on TV drama and film work as well. The next role he's slated for is in Sun TV's upcoming suspense drama, Sumo Queen 2, where he will play the referee who utters the lame line, "Looks like things are getting heavy," upon discovering a victim's dying message inscribed in one corner of the sumo ring. I could play the referee. I heard folks have been messing with the storeroom a bunch recently. Uh-huh. Did you hear who's behind it? Some juvenile delinquents. Like a gang? Whoa, that takes me way back. All right, let's hurry on back. Aki rushed over to the door. He tried turning the knob, but the door wouldn't budge. Oh, come on. Are you freaking kidding me? He paced frantically around the room, pulling at his hair. We're locked in! And that door was the only way in or out. Aki and Hitomi were well and truly trapped inside the storeroom. This is all my fault, Aki said. It was my idea to hide out here in the first place. He bowed to Hitomi repeatedly. We're never gonna be able to find that blue minivan now. You know, actually looking at the schedule, we only lost 2 games. Yeah, they're playing incredibly well, which is really bad for the tank. I guess we'll have to get someone on the outside to help us, Hitomi replied. She scowled thoughtfully. They powered their phones back on in order to call for help. Oh, Hitomi chirped, that's me. She took a look at the LCD display. It's an email from Mr. Tanaka. Ah, okay. Hitomi began typing out a response with practiced ease. More wild delusions rose in Aki's mind. What the hell is a wild delusion? Well, it's ideas or fantasies conjured up in one's mind with no logical or factual basis. People can become deluded for varying reasons about a whole host of different subjects. Thankfully, Aki's delusions here are of an ultimately harmless sort. No! Stealing a quick glance at Hitomi, he noticed her gazing happily at her phone screen. His delusions ran even more wild. So much love. Damn. While he was still fretting furiously, Hitomi finished typing her response. So, what'd you wind up saying? Aki asked. I explained the situation. That we're trapped in a storeroom, that you've got some guys chasing after you, and you're looking for some van? Yes. And I also asked him, please keep this a secret from my family and the police. Whoever this Tanaka guy was, Hitomi sure seemed to put a lot of trust in him. A short while later, Hitomi's phone chimed with a reply. She checked the screen in a flash, all eagerness. Aki. Couldn't help but ask, so what's that Tanaka guy have to say? Did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice. Yeah, it's pretty long there, Shen. Aki did his utmost to pretend he didn't notice. Mr. Tanaka says he's gonna look for the minivan for us. Huh? He says he wants us to hide out here a little while longer. What? No, if he just comes and lets us out, I could look for the van myself. He said that if someone's after me, it's safer to stay where we are. Yeah, I'm out of the running, Aki thought to himself. Miss Tanaka was clearly pretty concerned for her. And there was really only one reason that a middle-aged man would think like that. Freaking middle-aged men. Alright, fine. We'll wait. Aki turned his phone off and slumped back in a huff. After 20 more minutes in the storeroom, the two were sitting in silence. Aki had run out of things to talk about. Do you think you'll ever be friends again? You and that one guy, Susumu, I think it was? Hitomi's question caught Aki off guard. He stammered, unsure how to respond. I'm so sorry. I barely know you, and, well, that was insensitive of me. Will you be playing Like a Dragon? Probably, but not right now, that's for sure. No, it's alright. I mean, sometimes I wish things could go back to the way they used to be, like you said. He let out a tiny sigh. What that Kiryu said was the truth. I was the guy who founded SOS. Do you, know what I mean by that? Hitomi gave a slight nod. I mean, I never wanted to be in charge of a gang or anything. But I knew that if I left, SOS would just fall apart. And I didn't want everyone else to get all caught up over who would take my place, you know? So I thought long and hard about it, looking for a way for folks to stay friends even after I was gone. A loud voice echoed through the pool hall that served as SOS's HQ. What is a pool hall? Well, a pool hall is an establishment for plate pool, more formally known as pocket billiards. This particular place is a pool bar serving alcohol. The standard pool table is rectangular in shape, sports 6 pockets. 4 in the corners and 1 in the middle of each long slide, and supports multiple games, including 9-ball, 8-ball, and rotation. I don't know what rotation is. There are also tables without pockets. This style is known as carom billiards. That I do not know. What do you mean you're leaving? Susumu was positively red in the face. You're a founder, Aki. You can't just up and quit. Susumu had been like a younger brother to Aki. If anyone was going to try to stop him, Aki knew full well it would be Susumu. Look, I'm not gang leader material. All I've been trying to do is make sure we're all able to have fun. That's not true. Think about all that stuff you taught us. Don't you remember? Every man gets to make one request in his life that cannot be denied. Those were your words, Aki. Did I say that? It's the heaviest thing you've ever said. Then, to Aki's consternation, Susumu got down on his hands and knees. I'm begging you, please, don't leave. Without you, SOS is nothing. Aki could feel his conviction waver. I'm begging you here, from one man to another. This is my one request. He's pulling out that one request card. Give me a second, I gotta free my homie. Susumu, I'm sorry. Aki could barely croak out the words. I'm leaving you in charge. You can't. Please, don't say that. Aki turned his back to him in silence. Aki, please, why won't you listen? I can't possibly beg any harder than this. Enough with all the request nonsense. Aki grimaced. What? Look at you down on your hands on knees like that. Pathetic. does pathetic mean? Well, ultimately, stems from the Greek pathetikos, meaning subject to feeling or capable of emotion. Over time, the meaning changed to signify exciting the passions, and later on to a more modern sense of arousing one's pity. Aki spoke as harshly as he could, fighting to mask his true feelings. I'm fed up with you, all of you. With each word out of his mouth, Aki could feel his own heart breaking. But if he could make the others hate him, at least it would give SOS a reason to stay together. How can you say that? Don't you try and pull that crap. Susumu's tone had changed from sadness to anger. Fine then, he railed. I'm never asking you for anything again. I'll do what you want. I'll take the reins of SOS. Aki walked away, waving vaguely without looking back. Good luck. I mean it. Once he stepped out of the pool hall, he wiped his sleeve across his face. It came away wet with tears. Sometimes I think that maybe I could apologize to those guys and we could go back to the good old days. But that's never gonna happen. Not unless Suzune gets better. He stared into the distance at nothing in particular. At least he sorted out how he felt about his former pals. Is there nothing that can help your sister? Hitomi asked. She needs a heart transplant. And the problem with heart transplants is that the timing is tricky. What is a heart transplant? Well, it's the act of surgically implanting one person's heart into another's body. Such an operation is typically only performed on a patient with severe heart disease who cannot survive without a new heart. There are strict requirements that must be met before a heart can be transplanted, however. Chief among them, that the donor must first be brain dead. Even if there's a donor available, the transplant has to be performed within 4 hours. What is 4 hours? Well, within 4 hours because, well, the lack of oxygen causes damage referred to as warm ischemia damage in any organ removed from a human body. The transplant must be carried out and blood circulation restored within a certain time window, known as the total ischemic time. In the case of a heart transplant, the total ischemic time is only 4 hours. Helicopters and charter jets are frequently used to rapidly transport hearts for such operations. Oh, wow. I didn't realize. Someone with a heart that's a match for Suzune would need to die somewhere near her. Somewhere they could perform the surgery within that 4-hour window. The odds of that happening are so small it would almost be a miracle, which is what my sister's been waiting for. I mean, a heart transplant is pretty rough because someone has to die for you to live. Aki thumped the left side of his chest. If my heart would do the trick, I'd gladly let her have it. Damn it. I've got a strong heart too. He thumped himself on the chest again and again. He didn't mention it to Hitomi, but Suzune's blood type made finding her a heart transplant even more difficult. She had Bombay blood. What the hell is that? The type of blood that does not correspond to the more common types of A, B, O, or AB. or in some instances, a standard blood type yields a result of O in such individuals. First discovered in the city of Bombay, now Mumbai, on India's west coast, the blood type takes its name from that city due to its relatively high incidence rate amongst the inhabitants. It was one of the rarest blood types in the world. Apparently, there were only a few dozen people in all of Japan who had it. Rare blood types, such as Bombay, are scarce enough that even nationwide blood centers seldom have them in sufficient supply. For this reason, when such blood types are discovered in everyday testing, samples are quickly taken to be frozen and stored at temperatures lower than 80 degrees below centigrade. If Suzune were ever to receive a heart transplant, it would have to be from someone who also had Bombay blood. Lucky? Hitomi sounded like she was on the verge of tears. Wow, she must really feel bad for Suzune. If you did manage to find a heart for your sister, what would you do? What do you mean? Say you happened across someone who was a donor match. I would do anything. Anything? Yeah, whatever it took, I'd risk my own life if it meant helping Suzune. I mean, at that point, I'd assume God had granted me a miracle or something, you know? Mr. Tanaka? Unfortunately for these two, it is not Mr. Tanaka. Right now, Tanaka is at the Osawa residence on his way to speak with Kenji Osawa, who's washing dishes after lunch. Wait a minute. Let's go. Director, if you have a moment. Tanaka poked his head into the kitchen. I've got something urgent to discuss with you. Yes, of course. Osawa took the bug tracker from his pocket and handed it back to Kajiwara. I won't be needing this anymore. As soon as they left the kitchen, Tanaka leaned in close and whispered to him, I've got an email from Hitomi. He showed his cell phone to Osawa. Looks like I just punched my microphone. Looks like my sister is being held captive in a blue minivan somewhere in Shibuya. But that man is still chasing me, so I can't really go looking for it. A blue minivan? Allow me to handle this, sir. I'll figure something out. Osawa knew he trusted Tanaka for a reason. Thank you, he said with a bow. Oh, you wouldn't happen to know any place she might have gone, do you, sir? What? It's just that all she's told me is that she's been moving around. I'm sorry, I don't really have any idea, Osawa replied. He was ashamed to say it. There wasn't a single place he knew of where his daughter might be inclined to go. I see. Tanaka, picking up on his discomfort, was visibly embarrassed himself. He hastened to change the subject. By the way, how did your talk with Mr. Makino go? I confirmed that he was behind the human testing. But I don't know who sent me those emails. Tanaka paused for a moment in thought, looking like he might have a hunch. All right then, he said. We'll have to talk in more detail later. With that, the assistant director headed for the front door. Tanaka is looking kind of sus. Mr. Osawa? Kajiwara spoke from the kitchen door. Peeping on me again, huh? Osawa grumbled. Thankfully, it didn't appear that the detective had overheard his conversation with Tanaka. And good grief, that thing is noisy. Wait, that's his detector. If it's broken, why don't you just throw it out? The sounds from the bug tracker grew fainter and fainter. Something wasn't right, Osawa now realized. Mr. Osawa, Kajiwara said, "This is my bug tracker." Oh no. So, Osawa huffed. "What I mean, sir, this one isn't broken." What? A chill. What is this? A chill ran up Osawa's spine. He swallowed audibly. "I've pinpointed the source of the signal," Kajiwara said. "It's coming from Mr. Tanaka." No, Osawa thought. I must have misheard that. Hold on, say that again? "I've located the source of the signal. It's coming from Mr. Tanaka," the detective repeated. This time, Osawa heard him crystal clear. "I'm certain of it. Mr. Tanaka has a listening device on him." Osawa felt the blood draining from his face. If someone had been listening in on the conversation just now, then they heard about the email from Hitomi. If the kidnappers were the ones listening, that meant Maria's life was now in danger. "I'll go after him, sir." Kajiwara broke into a sprint. Osawa followed close behind. Caesar. Oh, we're gonna get to a new chapter soon. Well, let's continue with Aki. "Mr. Tanaka?" Tomi's voice was barely a squeak. For a moment, all was silent. "Maybe it's just a cat," Aki suggested. "Or not." Cat? Tama? What was Tama doing? The sales demo is over, and against all odds, I managed to get paid. Money clutched in one paw. I head to the knick-knack shop to finally buy that necklace I can't stop thinking about. "Hello? Anyone here?" I call out. There's no reply. Is the shopkeeper out? Ah, just a moment. Panting, the sales clerk comes scurrying into the shop behind me. "Sorry about that. I just had to pop out for a sec. Whew. You would not believe what I just saw." He leans against the pillar, gasping audibly as he tries to catch his breath. So who is Tama? Is she Hitomi's sister? That's what I'm thinking. That's my guess. Ah, you're here about that necklace. You still have it? Of course. Thank you so much. I have half the money here and the rest is in my... Oh. I suddenly remember something very important. Oh no! The sales clerk gives me a curious look. What's the matter? My wallet's still in here. I pat the costume around my tummy. So why don't you just take the outfit off? Well, I mean, the zipper's kind of broken. I wouldn't be having all this trouble if I could get out of this darn costume. Kind of broken. It's way more broken than that. The sales clerk points me to a full body mirror. That's right. The zipper in the back is hanging open. Taking this thing off will be a cinch. Oh, thank you. I give him a bow. Not sure you need to be thanking me, he says. No, I do. If you hadn't pointed that out, Might have let myself stay stuck in there forever. So really, thank you so much. I bow again and again. Head off. Who could it be? Sister? To be continued. Or not. Suddenly, someone hit the door hard. It sounded like they were trying to break the lock. You really think that's Tanaka? Aki asked. I'm not sure. If that were him, I think he'd probably just say something. Aki grabbed Hitomi's hand. We better hide. The two of them slipped behind a large piece of plywood, stage dressing. The door swung open with a loud creak. In stepped the man with a cane. What the heck? Aki whispered. What is he doing here? Gun drawn, the assassin prowled slowly around the storeroom. Aki and Hitomi crouched behind the plywood prop, trying not to make a sound. The man moved out of their line of sight. Aki gazed longingly at the door. Aki risked a peek around the corner of the plywood. He still couldn't see the man with the cane. The door was maybe 5 meters away. What should they do? They needed just to make a run for it. No, they needed to wait for a safer chance to escape. Well, chat, we running? All right. They needed to just make a run for it. Aki took a firm grip on Hitomi's hand. Suddenly, they heard the sound of a cell phone vibrated from behind a tall piece of plywood leaning by the door. The assassin stepped out from behind it. If they had made a run for it, they probably would have bumped right into him. Oh boy, that was a close one. Aki wiped away a few beads of cold sweat. I'm sure this is the place. His voice was low and confident. Uh-oh, did he have friends? Still clutching his phone, the assassin wandered deeper into the storeroom. Aki and Hitomi took the opportunity to slip out the door. They ran through the alleyways back towards the main road. Before they reached it, however, they suddenly found their path cut off by one of the foreigners who chased them earlier, the accomplice of the man with the pipe. He stood waiting for them, holding a knife in one hand. Out of the frying pan and into the fryer. In the fryer. If they turned back, Aki knew the man with the cane might catch up with them, and he had a gun. Aki slipped off his sleeveless jacket and wrapped it around his left arm. He's gonna have to use his left arm to guard against the knife while punching with his right. He clenched his fist and braced himself, and then suddenly he froze. Huh? A small dark silhouette dropped from somewhere up above. Landing deftly, the newcomer lunged towards the man with the knife. closing the gap between them in the blink of an eye. Ugh. The figure delivered a swift chop to the back of the man's neck. He dropped to the pavement like a dead man, finally giving Aki a clear view of the shadow behind him. Aki couldn't believe his eyes. It was a small-statured young woman with Middle Eastern features. Hitomi let out a little gasp. Canaan? Or Canaan? What is Middle East? Well, the game doesn't tell us, so we will never know. Tama changed to Maria. It really was little sister. That's right. He dialed up Detective Kajiwara, who was stationed at the Osawa residence. He hoped a little more information about the family's two daughters might shed some light on the situation. The detective answered promptly. Kajiwara here. Hey, it's Kano. Huh? Kano? A horrid, jarring beeping was audible from the other side of the line. What's that noise? Kano asked. Sorry, hold on. I can't really hear you. Okay, go on. It sounded like Kajiwara had moved away from the source of the noise, though Kano could still hear it faintly in the background. He explained that he was looking for more info on the Osawa girls. Honestly, Detective Kano, I thought you were more mature than this, Kajiwara said disapprovingly. Come again? Kano said, bewildered. What's with the attitude all of a sudden? You've got a little crush, don't you? Kajiwara told him. What? No, detective, that isn't why. You mustn't let yourself get personally attached to an investigation. Still, I was young and impulsive myself once. I guess I can tell you one thing. Kano kept his cell phone pressed tight against his ear. The two girls? They look exactly alike. Kajiwara kept his voice low, as if he were revealing a major secret. But Kano knew this already. Everyone assigned to the investigation had been informed that the girls were twins at the previous night's briefing. However, Kajiwara continued, still sotto voce. Their personalities are pretty different. The younger sister, Hitomi, is quiet and reserved, but Maria's apparently more of a busybody. Ah, I see. Kano thought back on Hitomi, standing in front of the statue of Hachiko. She had indeed seemed like an introvert, though Kano had also sensed her intense commitment to helping her sister. Perhaps she was less demonstrative, but her heart certainly seemed to be in the right place. Why? Kano heard someone shouting in the background wherever Kajiwara was. What was that just now? He asked. Mr. Osawa, the girl's father. I think something might have happened. Kajiwara's voice was laced with concern. I should go see what this is all about. Yeah, probably. But Kano, tell me, yes? Which one is it? Which one do you have a crush on? Kano hung up. Oh, Kajiwara, you so crazy. At long last, traffic began to move again. Almost as soon as it did, however, Stanley had to slam on the brakes. The abrupt stop made Kano smack his head against the windshield. Hey, what gives? Look, Stanley said. He gestured with his chin. Kano couldn't believe his eyes. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Al Karawan, very much not in custody. What the hell? Kano shouted, already hopping out of the car. Stanley was right behind him. They crept up on their target. Oh, we already did this. They let me go. I'm a free man. No idea. Huh. And then we get bad end. How do we get out of this then? What time is it right now? That should do it. What does that mean? Do we check the hints? Because I don't have no idea. There's no jump. No? Okay. Because everyone else is to be continued. No, San was not. So Tama's keep out. Wait, why are they keep out? Wait a minute, why do they keep out? I think we've laid low long enough, Aki said. I think we should be on our way. Theater guys. Unless we're getting a bad end because we didn't call the other guy. Yeah, I know. We had to be continued in the other version, so. And we had to be continued with Tama, which is now Maria. Because we changed the timeline. Oh, wait, we're calling someone. Yo, Aki? Is that you? Susumu's voice was low and guarded. Look, I got a favor to ask you. I'm in a real bind here. Huh? Like things are ridiculously bad. I thought maybe you could help me out a bit. You seriously thought I'd help you? Susumu's voice were like ice. You messing with me or something, man? Now he sounded a touch angry as well. Painful memories flashed before Aki's eyes. Right then, sorry to bug you, just forget it. But Susumu hung up before Aki was even finished talking. No dice, Aki said to Hitomi with a lopsided frown. She looked back at him, her expression a mirror of his own. What should we do? What should we do? I guess we're back to Mr. Tanaka. I guess so. You want to go ahead? Hitomi tried calling him repeatedly, but Tanaka didn't pick up. What could have happened? She muttered under her breath. You think maybe the kidnappers found out that Mr. Tanaka and I have been in contact? Aki shrugged. It looked like they were just going to need to find a way out of here on their own, and maybe look for the minivan themselves. Aki strode over the door and grabbed the whole of the knob. He tried giving it a good, sturdy pull. Ugh, no good. The thing won't even budge. That door opens outward. Wait, really? Aki tried giving it a push. Still didn't open. He kicked it. Oh ho! The door wasn't nearly as sturdy as Aki had expected. I think I can make this work. He backed up to get a running start, then kicked the door with all his might. Hey-ya! The door went flying off its hinges. Oh man, that was way too easy. Aki stepped cautiously out of the storeroom. He quickly scanned the surrounding area. There was nobody in sight. Looks like we're in the clear, he called. But Hitomi didn't come out, nor did she reply. Hitomi? She had her phone in hand, apparently still trying to get in touch with Tanaka. With a tiny sigh, Aki leaned against the wall and waited for her to finish. Well? Doesn't look like I'm gonna get any luck, she said. You know we can leave now, right? Still holding hope for your Mr. Tanaka? It's not that, I'm just a little worried. Oh yeah? Okie dokie then. I'll just wait around out here. Okay, I'll be right with you. Uh-huh. Aki shuffled his way outside. Oh crap. By the time Aki could finish processing the thought, he was already laid out on the ground. His jaw hit the asphalt hard. He bit the tip of his tongue clean off. The taste of blood filled his mouth. A moment later, he took a sharp blow to the head. He was done for. All the energy drained from his body. His mind whirled. His vision grew hazy. He began to drift from consciousness. Back when he run with Suzumu and the others, he'd never leave himself exposed to a surprise attack. There were plenty of times where he had taken a punch that sent him reeling, only to spin away and come back swimming. This time, he hadn't even seen it coming. It was his last mistake. Is this a Persona 5 reference? Guess I let myself go soft. Aki grimaced inwardly, muttering in a voice no one but he could hear. Hitomi, I'm so sorry. Okay, so it's definitely not that. So Kano has to call his buddy. Yeah, because now that leads to be continued, to be continued. Now Tama's Maria and Aki's to be continued. Let's listen to the old man. Kano decided he'd better listen to what the old man had to say. Hello, sir. I'm afraid I'm not really at the liberty to take a personal call right now, even if it is from my father-in-law. He did his best to sound apologetic. I'm not your father-in-law. Ah, yes, of course. Sorry, sir. He bowed his head reflexively, feeling like an idiot. You really don't give a damn about keeping me waiting like this, do you? I feel terrible. Sir, I swear to you, I feel terrible. Please, I just... Flustered, he took a deep breath and recomposed himself. I promise you, sir. I promise I'll be there. You can just wait a little while. Don't make promises you can't keep. Shizuo's barking a rebuke made Kano break out in a sweat. You think I'm gonna let you off the hook just because you're working on a case? This is exactly why I don't want my daughter with some detective. Great. Another angry tirade. But didn't you used to be a detective, sir? Kino muttered. You watch yourself, you little brat. It's not enough that you keep calling me your father-in-law. Now you have to bring that up? Evidently, Kano had touched a raw nerve. Ever have a dentist hit a nerve while drilling a tooth? That's where this expression comes from. It seems like anything he said only made matters worse. Well, you're not off the hook, Shizuo continued. I'm never letting my daughter marry the likes of you. His fury hitting its crescendo, Shizuo promptly hung up. Why on earth did Shizuo hold such intense malice towards police detectives when he'd been one himself? Kano had become a detective for Rumi's sake in the first place. Now it was the biggest thing holding him back. Hey, come on, let's go. Stanley's voice snapped Kano out of his daze. Ugh. Grimly, he followed the American back to his car. Yeah, I don't know what that changes. We already read that. Drugs. What? International criminal mastermind. Dictum. Don't punch a guy in the face. Sasayama. Hmm. Today's my wife's birthday, you know? I highly doubt it. Yeah, there he is. I'm gonna check the hints because I have no idea. We're all on to be continued, so you have to let him go. I don't have the option. It's either talk to the father-in-law. Oh, maybe, yeah. What does it all mean? No, there is no other option. Yeah, there's... Someone can do something at 140 that throws a wrench into Kano's activities. 140? Minarakawa? Or is it Maria? It's time I skinned this cat. The exact origin of the phrase "there's more than one way to skin a cat" is uncertain and a matter of some dispute. Although it appears to have arisen in the latter portion of the 19th century, it's hard to imagine why anyone would want to conjure up such a gruesome mental image. I need to get rid of this costume, whatever it takes. I take hold of the head in both hands and yank it upwards as hard as I can. Oh-ho? Please tell me I'm not imagining things. The head feels a whole lot looser than it did before. If I give it a good enough push, then maybe... Hurrah! Yeah, but maybe the guy won't sell us the pendant now that we're not in the costume. I did it. I slip out of the rest of the cat costume and gleefully abandon it as I head for the knick-knack shop. Yeah, that's not the right way. Maybe it's Minarakawa, because he does talk to the other guy. wrap this up. Thank you for your time, Mr. Yanagashita. Now, if you excuse me, I have to get to another interview. No, of course. Allow me to walk you out. Mr. Yanagashita rose to his feet as Minorikawa got up to leave. Oh, that won't be necessary. It's no trouble. I'm heading out now myself. Gotta run before those guys show up. What guys do you mean? Oh, nobody. It's just a personal thing is all. They parted ways outside the building, and Minorikawa headed off to the cafe to put his article together. Maybe that changes everything. Because now the other guys... Oh, perfect timing. Yeah... Yeah, maybe. So by doing that, let's see what Kano does. Yeah, so that changed. Long last, traffic began to move. Stanley slammed the brakes. A frantic-looking man had jumped out in front of the car. Whoa, hey, what the hell are you doing? Kano sputtered out. The stranger plastered his face against the passenger side window. Open up, he shouted. Open the door. The guy showed every sign of total panic. Who's the guy? Well, it's Junichi Yanagashita. Something happened just after he parted ways with Minorikawa. And now he's running this way, and in quite a panic at that. Don't do it, Stanley warned. Kano hesitated. It wasn't like they could just drive off with this fellow clinging to the car. Please, you gotta help me. The man slipped his finger in through the gap of the window, trying to force it further down. Help me. Whoa, oh, hold on. What's your deal? Help me. Sir, just tell me what. Help me. Look up ahead, Stanley exclaimed suddenly. Kano whipped his head around. There, walking along the sidewalk ahead, was Al-Karawan, very much not in custody. What the hell? Kano tried to jump out of the car, but the frantic stranger had gotten his upper body wedged in the window, and the door wouldn't open. Stanley, with his usual steely expression, replaced with a look of shock, exited on the driver's side and went after Al-Karawan himself. Kano shouted at the man in the window. Get out of the way! Stanley, wait! All right, get in. Get in. If the guy was that desperate to get inside, Kano wasn't about to stop him. Besides, he needed to get the guy to calm down and let go of his arm. Ow, the man yelped. Let go, let go. He was the one holding on, but why was he demanding to be let go? What the hell's going on? Just as Kano's thought was forming, the crazed stranger was yanked back of the car, dragging Kano with him. A pair of rough-looking men had grabbed him by his lower body. No, no, he screamed. I can't do 80 days hard labor. Somehow he was managing to cling to the car door. Just give up and let go already, snarled one of the assailants. The pair shifted their grip and pulled even harder. The Kano heard the sound of tearing fabric as the two toughs tumbled backwards. Just like that, the crazed stranger was stripped down to his boxers. He let out a pathetic wail. Oh man! The two toughs burst into an uproarious laughter at the sight. Now's our chance, one of them managed to sputter. The pantsless man snatched up his ruined garment and bolted like a startled hare. What is a startled hare? Wants to dart off incredibly quickly in the manner of a fleeing rabbit. Yanagashita runs a lot more than a rabbit, though. Still cackling madly, his two pursuers rushed after him. Kano was still staring dumbstruck at the spectacle when Stanley returned to the car. No luck. I lost track of him. This doesn't make any sense, Kano said, forcing himself to refocus on the case. Al-Karawan was taken back to the precinct. What's he doing walking free? Stanley gave him a dubious look. Have you seriously not figured it out? Or is this some kind of strange Japanese joke I'm not getting? What are you talking about? Kano replied. Do you know something I don't? Evidently I do. Your detective Tatno let him go on purpose. That's the only explanation. Rugged. Enraged at the suggestion, Kano took a swing at him, but Stanley coolly caught his fist. It's not me you should be punching, the American warned. It's Tatno. Abashed, Kano radioed up Kuze on the wireless. Sir? Did Detective Tatno bring Tariq Al-Karawan to the precinct? It would appear that Detective Tatno has gone rogue, Kuze replied with chagrin. He what? Surely Kano had misheard. We received an eyewitness account. Someone saw him allowing the suspect to go free. No, it can't be. We currently do not know Detective Tatno's whereabouts, or just what the hell is going on with him. After Kano ended the call, Stanley let out a low chuckle. I see. Looks like you had a traitor in your midst. Kano grabbed him by the collar. Stanley snorted. What are you trying to pull here? Tell me what you know, Kano snapped. All I did is state the facts. Look, I watched that man risk his life to talk down a would-be arsonist. He's a dyed-in-the-wool detective. He'd never betray anybody. I see, Stanley murmured. Then he's the real deal. Kano stared in surprise. He'd expected an argument. Good. He said, I'm glad we're on the same page. Tatno risked his life in order to get people to trust him. He's a dyed-in-the-wool spy is what he is. What? Kano didn't have the words. His clenched fist trembling once more, he fumbled for his cell phone again. He dialed Tatno's number, but the phone rang 5 times. The phone rang 5 times but failed to connect. There has to be a reason for this, Kano muttered. Tatno must know something we don't. Really now? Stanley scoffed. And what makes you so sure of that? Because Detective Tatno was sure this kidnapping wasn't about the ransom. Kano's mind drifted back to 9 o'clock that morning. Ahead of their stakeout at the Scramble, he was walking with Tatno through the halls of the Shibuya precinct. We're gonna do a bang-up job out there, Detective Tatno, he chirped. He was a bit too excited about getting to take part in such a major case. Tatno patted Kano on the back. You need to take a step back. You're not letting yourself see the forest for the trees. What do you mean, sir? What I mean is that this is no ordinary kidnapping. Kano's words triggered a little revelation. You're talking about the location for the ransom handoff, aren't you? Kano said. It doesn't make sense for the criminals to pick such a major intersection. Warmer, Tatno replied. Kano frowned inwardly. He was so sure that was the answer. Have you thought about why they asked to have the sister make the handoff? Kano thought some more before answering. Because women are easier to deal with, he suggested. Colder. If that was the case, why not pick the mother? Now, what worries me is the fact that the Osawa girls are twins. They're having us send someone to the handoff who looks identical to the girl they kidnapped. What's going to happen when we do that? What is going to happen, sir? Kano asked. I'm not sure yet. But I have a feeling the kidnapper's plan hinges on it. The two exited through the precinct's main entrance. Up ahead, rows of buildings stood tall against a backdrop of bright blue sky. Kano let out a quiet sigh. To think so many terrible things are happening out there on such a beautiful day. Solve one case, and another's waiting, as always. What is it about people that drives them to do such horrible things? A girl abducted out of pure greed. When I think of how her parents must feel, I almost can't bear it. They made their way towards the scramble. Tato continued talking in a quiet voice. My father was a raging alcoholic. The house was always a complete mess. He was loud, violent, never had any money, always reeked of booze. My mother, she would cry and cry. I was afraid to come home. Every day I stayed out playing as late as I could. Kano could hear the pain in Tatano's voice. That life took too much of a toll on my mother. She died when I was still in grade school, and my father, he just got worse. I was there with him at the end, after he'd wasted away to almost nothing. Not the sort of childhood I'd ever wish on anybody. It sounds like you really went through a lot. Kano hated himself for uttering such an empty platitude, but he had no idea what else to say. Kano, as old as I am, I still don't really know what it is to be happy. I think that's probably because I've never known what it's like to have a happy family. Tatano sounded so forlorn. The only happiness I know how to protect is the other people's happiness. Kano heard in those words the soul of a true detective. I just hope you're ready. Kano did his best to keep his voice as calm and level as he could, lifting his clenched fist. Because if I find proof that Tatano is innocent, I'm planting this right into your jaw. Stanley just cracked a wry smile. The traffic had finally diminished, and they rapidly drew close to their destination. The syndicate's hideout was in Tamigaya, to the southwest of Yoyogi Park. The ratty building looked like it might come crashing down at any minute. The Black Lodge sign out front looked deliberately ominous. Kano knew the place as a bar frequented by the expats from various countries, as well as a hotbed for criminal activity. Hey, we did this already. I'll take point. You back me up. Pulled a handgun from his suit pocket. Yeah, let's see, we already got the things. Are we gonna have a bad end again? Blood everywhere. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's new. Wait a minute. Sorry. Oh, so it was later. I'll take points, Stanley said. You back me up. He pulled a handgun from his suit pocket. Yeah, it's true, because we came here later, so maybe that changed the story. Yeah. It was a compact Glock, a model frequently used by the FBI or CIA. Kano drew his own gun, and the two cautiously made their way inside. At the end of the hallway was a wooden door. Stanley signaled with his eyes. Kano gave a tiny nod, and Stanley kicked the door in. The stench of blood hit them as soon as they stepped inside. Kano let out a startled gasp. There were nearly a dozen bodies sprawled out across the floor. He recognized them all. They were the men who participated in the repeated attaché case handoffs. Each appeared to have been stabbed to death. Stanley took a closer look. The blood's not fully dried. These guys weren't killed that long ago. Guys were killed not that long ago. Kano quickly scanned the bar high and low, but there was no sign of a killer in hiding. There was no trace of Maria either. One of the fallen men let out a faint, strained groan. Hey, Kano called out, stay with us. He hunched down beside the wounded man. Ugh. A brief gurgle rose from the man's throat. He was clearly struggling to say something, but his voice was too garbled, too indistinct for Kano to make out any coherent words. Kaden. Oh boy. Just spread strawberry jam all over me. I don't like strawberries. What was that? But there was no more. The dying man went limp and still. To be continued. All right, we got everyone to the continue. Are these Cheetos? You went long today. Yeah, I'm basically Santa Claus this week. Oh, Maria! Just so happy. Peace sign. All right, I think we're gonna call it there. For tonight, well, we got another stream in 2 hours. We're gonna be playing Ogre Tactics or Tactics Ogre. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a good night.